Spring is finally here, and today we have some great tips for you to help you prepare your garden and your landscape for the growing season. With the spring days, we often have mild temperatures and wet, rainy days, and those conditions are often good for diseases to develop in the garden. And we have a lot of diseases that are common in the garden. There is cedar apple rust, which is a disease that actually attacks both the junipers or cedars as well as apples and crab apples. And so when you see the bright orange jelly galls that form on the junipers, that's a good time to spray your apples and crab apples to help prevent the disease from spreading over to those trees. Cedar apple or hawthorn rust is another disease that pops up this time of year. There are many of them, many foliar diseases. There's powdery mildew, anthracnose, and leaf spots such as black spot of roses and things like that. All of these diseases are best controlled on a preventative measure by using fungicides at the time that the leaves or buds are breaking on the plant, and when the temperatures and the moisture is favorable for disease development. Now, another disease that pops up this time of year, or shows itself this time of year, is spring dead spot disease. Spring dead spot disease will show itself as dead spots in your Bermuda grass lawn. As the grass begins to green up, you'll see spots that remain dead. This is due to a fungus that was active back in the fall, and with the cold temperatures of winter and the activity back in the fall, it kills the grass. So now it's too late to spray with a fungicide, and in fact, many of the fungicides are not very effective on spring dead spot disease here in Oklahoma. So what we generally recommend is that you just clean out those areas, rake out and remove the dead grass, and then perform practices such as fertilizing and watering, encouraging that Bermuda grass to grow vigorously and recover rapidly. Now, this is also the time of year when insects start popping up in the garden, so you want to keep your eyes out for those. There are also good bugs or predators, and so you want to watch for those as well, such as lady beetles. If you see those in the garden, then allow them to do their thing before you reach for the insecticides. You can also spray for those, or you can also handpick the insects out of the garden as well, and that will help reduce the amount of insects that you need to use in the garden. Now, this is also the time of year to begin thinking about and doing things for your warm season grasses. If you want to establish a warm season lawn, you can do that in the latter part of April with sprigs or plugs or sod. Now's the time to apply the first application of fertilizer. You can apply 3 to 5 applications of nitrogen to your Bermuda grass, your your Bermuda grass lawns. The first one beginning in April at 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Also, you can begin mowing your warm season grasses. Bermuda grass and zoysia grass should be mowed at about 1 to 1.5 inches at this time of year, and buffalo grass at 3 inches. Now let's go to look at another part of the garden, and we'll talk about some other tips. This time of year is also a good time to cut back plants that may have been damaged by the winter. Branches that have not budded out by late April, or plant material that has died back to the ground, should be cut back by late April. Clean this all up and get it ready for the spring. Now also, we have spring flowering bulbs, and you don't want to cut those back too early. Even if they've already flowered, you don't want to cut the foliage back until it actually has turned yellow and begun to die back to the ground. If you cut them back too early, you're removing the ability of the bulb to store up energy for next year's flowering. Now this time of year is also the time to begin planting your summer annuals and your summer bulbs. And you want to do this after the dangers of frost have passed. And in Oklahoma, throughout most of Oklahoma, that's usually around the middle part of April. Now, if you have water gardens in your landscape, this is also a good time to get in there and start cleaning it all out. Remove all the dead leaves and things that have collected in there. Go ahead and divide any of your water garden plants, and then when the temperatures or the water temperatures are above 50 degrees, that's the time to begin feeding your fish.